KTM have issued another recall for their motorcycles, and it's for the same issue, cracking tyres. But this is an old story. Let's get into it. So this is a curious case of cracking tyres from Continental, who issued a recall on nearly 69,000 tyres back in May of 2022. Now this also prompted KTM and Husqvarna of North America to issue recalls of their motorcycles in the sum of over 27,000 bikes. So a big problem. Now for Continental themselves, the tyres affected are the TKC 80, the Conti Go, the K62 and LB tyres. And these are all manufactured between January the 6th of 2019 and April 30th of 2022. So what has gone on? Why they're still issuing recalls, and what does this mean for existing owners of KTM or Husqvarna bikes, especially in the United States, where this recall has been made by Continental USA and also KTM USA as well. Okay, I'm just going to read directly off the safety report here, and I'm going to list all the motorcycles that are affected first of all. Okay, so the motorcycles affected are the 2019 KTM 1090 Adventure R, the 2019 to 2020 KTM 1290 Super Adventure R TKC, the 2019 KTM 250 EXCF, 2019 to 2023 KTM 350 EXCF, 2019 KTM 450 EXCF 6 days, 2019 to 2023 KTM 500 EXCF, 2019 to 2022 KTM 690 Enduro R, 2020 to 2023 KTM 500 EXCF 6 days, 2021-2022 KTM 890 Adventure R, the 2021 KTM 890 Adventure R Rally, 2019 Husqvarna FE250, the 2019 Husqvarna FE350, the 2019 Husqvarna FE450, the 2019 Husqvarna FE501, and the 2019 to 2021 Husqvarna 701 Enduro, the 2020 to 2023 Husqvarna FE350S, and the 2020 to 2023 Husqvarna FE501S. And finally, the 2020 Husqvarna 701 Enduro LR. So the reason why the recalls are still being made by KTM and Husqvarna is because some of the model years extend into 2023. So they've had to reissue or issue again new recalls for the 2023 model years. But it's still the same problem. However, Continental did issue the recall in May of last year, and this compelled KTM and Husqvarna of North America to issue those recalls as well. Now, part of the recall from Continental and also KTM and Husqvarna was to take all the motorcycles that they had in their inventory, in other words, pre-sale bikes, and swap out the tyres. So the bikes they've already got in stock in their inventory, the tyres should have already been changed. Therefore, they should not be selling bikes into 2023 with this issue. You see where I'm going with this? So how did this all start? Well, this is the safety report here from Continental and how they identified the issue. So in 2022, Continental Tyres in America, they issued a recall because of potential tread groove cracking, and this was on the Conti Scoot tyre line. CTA, this is Continental Tyres America, CTA evaluated and performed endurance testing on additional motorcycle tyre products from February to April 2022. The additional endurance test revealed further products from the Continental tyre lines, TKC 80, the Conti Go, K62 and the LB, which are sensitive to developing groove cracks. April 29th, 2022, CTA made a determination that non-compliance on various products exists and therefore decided to initiate this recall. CTA is not aware of any field complaints for this condition and has not received any reports of property damage or personal injury claims for the affected products. So in other words, they've found out that their tyres are developing abnormal cracks in the tyre pattern, so they've issued a recall. And well done to them. They found a problem, they've issued it. KTM North America have also said and stated in this report here that they are not aware of any field complaints and have not received any reports of property damage or personal injury as a result of this. So this is where it gets all a little bit vague. And this is the interesting thing. So if you're a KTM owner and you're running these tyres, then I'm not sure which way you have to go on this one. As I say, KTM and Husqvarna dealers have been instructed to remove these tyres on the bikes in their inventory, or the bikes that will be coming into them, and then replace them with like-for-like tyres, or alternative tyres that don't suffer from this condition. Now it says here, for motorcycles previously retailed, customers can bring their affected vehicle to an authorised KTM or Husqvarna motorcycle dealer for tyre inspection and replacement free of charge. That means if you've already bought one of these bikes and it's running these tyres, then you can bring the bike in, they'll inspect it. If the tyres have got cracks in them, then they'll replace them free of charge. But it doesn't say how old these tyres have to be, how many miles you've put on them, so on and so forth. It also goes on to say that consumers also have the option to have the TKC 80 tyres replaced by their nearest Continental Tyre dealer, and customers that decide this option will have to organise the tyre replacement and reimbursement between the Continental Tyre dealer and Continental Tyre the Americas themselves. You know, it's a little bit of a convoluted way of doing it. So in other words, don't go to Continental, just go to your KTM dealer or Husqvarna dealer. Now, customers that have already replaced the affected tyre prior to the receipt of this notice due to the condition described should contact Continental Tyre the Americas for guidance and assistance regarding reimbursement as described in the consumer notification letter. So, the recall letters went out in May last year, so owners should have received a letter by now and they should have gone to a KTM dealer. But some of these models go back to 2019 and 2020, and obviously they're coming up to 2023 now. Well, I don't know about you, but most people riding their bikes, they're going to use a set of tyres a year at least. So therefore, if you've got a 2019 or a 2020, 2021, so those tyres would have been long gone. You would have swapped them out a long time ago. So how does this work? How does this work that you've already used a set of tyres, you know, thought, well, I've worn them down, some cracks there, I'm just going to replace them. So how does this work from a tyre manufacturer point of view? You've already identified that nearly 70,000 tyres are affected. KTM North America, they've already identified it's over 27,000 bikes affected. And this is just for the North American market. What about elsewhere? Now, obviously, different markets have different tyre compounds, so it may not be an issue elsewhere. But if you've already had a set of tyres and you've replaced them 2 or 3 times and they did have cracking, then maybe you didn't even notice the cracking yourself. Maybe you were just riding with defective tyres, you didn't really notice it. It was the way it was, you swapped them out, they wore down, and on you went. So how does this relate to getting money back on your tyres? Well, I think this is a discussion that you're going to have with a KTM or Husqvarna dealer and maybe potentially even Continental Tyre themselves. But as I say, all owners should have received a letter by now. But as we know, especially with some of the smaller CC KTMs and Husqvarnas, these bikes can change hands quite a few times, and maybe ownership papers aren't always swapped over as well, even with relatively new bikes. So what does that mean for somebody who's got a bike, you know, and they don't have ownership and papers? Well, possibly they haven't got a leg to stand on. They just have to get new tyres in the way it is. Now, you could argue that tyres of this nature aren't the greatest expense anyway, when you compare it to the overall cost of the motorcycle, and it is considered a consumable anyway. So most people would say, well, my tyres are wore down, they're cracking, I'll just get a new set of tyres. So I'm not sure which way this goes, whether you would likely ask for a reimbursement, how successful you're going to be in trying to claim for any money back, or also trying to get a new set of tyres. It'd be interesting to see if any riders riding a 2021 or a 2022 Husqvarna or KTM, if they got any tyres that have cracked but they're not fully worn down, if they take them into a dealership and see how successful they'll be in getting them replaced free of charge. If you're one of those riders, let us know in the comments below. But as I say, if there's any more information, I'll bring it to you. But this is an ongoing issue, And it seems to be an ongoing issue because of the model years of certain motorcycle models going into 2023, as opposed to there being a continuing issue with Continental Tyres. However, you would have thought that 2023 bikes, certainly late 2022 into 2023 bikes, wouldn't have these tyres on them anyway. But that's yet to be seen. That's it for now, and I'll catch you on another video coming very soon. Bye now.